So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hi, villains, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast with me, Neil. And yeah, I don't need to introduce the guest I have today. I am delighted to be joined by the wonderful Fabrizio Romano. Needs no introduction. I'm not even going to try and give him an introduction because, as we say, the only thing you can really say when you have Fabrizio Romano on is "Here we go." And hopefully, as I say, hopefully we get some breaking news and transfers as it comes through.
Hey, with Aston Villa is possible. With Aston Villa is possible. Thank you, Neil, for the invitation. First of all, thank you for the kind words. Really big pleasure to talk Aston Villa with you in these busy days for Aston Villa, and really, really happy to talk together. Thank you again.
Absolutely, and I suppose we might as well just get straight into what I've been terming the soup of the day, and it's Jack Grealish, no longer an Aston Villa player, and I'm not going to spend too much time talking about him because I don't want to cry live on camera. But obviously, Jack Grealish is no longer an Aston Villa player. But it did seem, and obviously, I don't want you to give away your sources or anything like that. But it did seem that there was a bit of a tug of war between both City and Aston Villa and the player himself. And I suppose what I want to really ask is, when did you know for sure that Jack Grealish was going to leave Aston Villa?
If you want the truth, saying for sure, I mean when I say here we go. So I was 100% sure. It was Wednesday night. It was Wednesday night. Yes, Wednesday night, because Wednesday evening, I would say, Wednesday night, when they signed the paperwork. Because I'm told that till the last minute, and also during the afternoon, Aston Villa were trying to change the situation, were trying to change Jack's mind. They were really trying. And timing this deal has been really a key factor, because if Aston Villa and Manchester City will have completed the deal this week, Jack was going to sign a new deal with Aston Villa. So there were huge chances for the player to stay. Of course, Manchester City were pushing since a lot of weeks. They were contacting his agent, the player, and Aston Villa. But then there were also some tense moments between Aston Villa and Manchester City. And that's why since 1 week, last Thursday, the official negotiations were up to the most important people in the club. It was not just about the sport director, but it was about the most important people and influential people in the club, because they were needing to find a solution. I think they found a good solution for both sides, also allowing Aston Villa during this week to do their business in secret and in silence. And this has been really so smart from Aston Villa, in my opinion. And that's how they ended up with the deal.
And I suppose that's some really good insight that you gave there with regards to, that there was, Aston Villa put up a very, very good fight to try and keep Jack Grealish. And I know there'll be a Christian Purslow that came out and gave what I think, and I am biased being an Aston Villa fan, I think was a very classy speech last night with regards to the status of Aston Villa Football Club with Jack Grealish there as well. When the transfer was announced, or not even announced, when the transfer was rumored, and you mentioned there on Wednesday, it started to trickle through about a more concrete view of an actual release clause in Jack Grealish's contract. For somebody like you who's involved in and gets wind of a lot of transfers, was that something that was known early on in negotiations, or was that something that came to light as negotiations went on? And I suppose what I'm really talking about here was, would that have been something that you would have known weeks prior and maybe wouldn't have made it out into the ether?
To be honest with you, since many weeks there were rumors about this kind of clause, also around the player, not just around the clubs, but also around the player. But from two sides of the negotiation, Aston Villa and player side have been always denying this kind of clause. So always saying there is no clause is not true. From Manchester City, they were not commenting this kind of thing. And it means that, as always, release clause are part of a private agreement. So they can say what they want, and then they can do what they want, because it's normal also with the media, with this kind of transfer, the most important transfer of the Premier League, to do something like this and to do their business. That's why the situation of the release clause was not public till the last days. But I think that it was part of a strategy. You know, I think there is a lot of strategy in this transfer. As I said before, this one of the risk clause, of course, but also I can say that, in my opinion, is part of a strategy. Also saying how in the last week, since they made the official bid on Friday, but they started the official talks last Thursday between the two clubs. In this week, they've been allowed from Aston Villa, from Manchester City. They were not commenting on the deal. They were keeping it quiet. Okay, we knew about Manchester City and Aston Villa working to complete the deal, but they were keeping it quiet to allow Aston Villa to sign Leon Bailey, to sign Danny Ings, with no rappers on Danny Ings, with rappers on Leon Bailey, but signed in 24 hours in negotiation with Bayer Leverkusen. So it's been a lot of strategy on the release clause and a lot of strategy about the communication side for both clubs. And in my opinion, they've been really smart. I am a journalist, so for me, my point of view should be maybe different, but I think they've been really smart from fan side and from Villa side.
Yeah, and talk to me as well about Leon Bailey and the Danny Ings piece for Aston Villa. Obviously, Christian Purslow has come out recently. Oh, he came out yesterday in the same interview that I mentioned, and he said that you would be foolish to try and replace Jack Grealish with one player. And I think everybody would agree, because he's such a different type of player than is even in European football at the moment. And he's so different to us, being what we built our team around. But a player like Leon Bailey coming in from the Bundesliga, you mentioned there that there was a very quick turnaround in the transfer from negotiations to signing. Yes. And you mentioned with Danny Ings that there was, like, if Danny Ings can keep a secret as well as he can score goals. Sorry, if Danny Ings can score goals as well as he can keep a secret, well, then we're going to get a 20 goal a season striker. But the thing I'm trying to say, the question I'm trying to ask here is, in your circles when you're talking to people, what's the view of Aston Villa Football Club and how they do business and their board at the moment? Because we've had some people who didn't have the best reputation in recent times as owners or as negotiators, and we get the feeling that the club has kind of grown up from that point of view. Do you have any insight on that?
Yes, I have exactly the same feeling. And if you let me say, I think that now the best clubs on this point of view, so I'm talking about the strategy, how they're doing it, I think in the last 3 or 4 years have been a part of the top historical clubs. But I'm mentioning Leicester and I'm mentioning Atalanta in Italy, because they are doing something really interesting. And I will mention now from this summer also Aston Villa, for how they're working on the deals. As you say, they're growing up on the situation, but I see them really with a good strategy in communication, in how they continue and use sometimes the small screens. For example, Tammy Abraham, they've been asking for Abraham, but at the same time they were negotiating to sign Danny Ings. So, they've been really smart in this kind of situation. They know when is the moment to go and to complete the deal, because, for example, for Leon Bailey, I'm told that many clubs were interested also from other countries, making inquiries, exploring the situation maybe for the last 2 weeks of August to try something with Bayer Leverkusen. Aston Villa be really smart to go at the right moment and to do the deal immediately. We're not losing time, convincing the player, reaching an agreement on personal terms immediately after they had an agreement in place with Bayer Leverkusen. So the strategy has been perfect with both players. The strategy has been huge, in my opinion, also with Emi Buendia, because Arsenal were keen on him. It was a total negotiation, absolutely not easy for Aston Villa, and they've been perfect in the strategy. So in my opinion, they are really growing up on this kind of situation, and talking with people like agents, like directors around, the situation about Aston Villa is considered really different now. They know how to do it, and I think that together with Leicester and Atalanta, now we can include also Aston Villa about the smart clubs in football, because they know that sometimes you have to sell players. It's part of the game. I know Jack Grealish to you is more than a player, is more than a legend, is something historical for the club, and of course I can understand your feelings. But at the same point, in modern football, receiving this kind of bid, £100 million for a player after COVID, it was an opportunity for everyone involved in this deal. And that's why they've been really smart in doing business before selling Jack Grealish. Because if you want to sign Danny Ings and Bailey, maybe now they're asking you 40 or 45 or 50 million euro, not 30 million euro pounds. So they've been incredible. And I think the feeling around the club is completely different now.
We've mentioned the price tag, and you've mentioned it there, the 100 million pounds. It's eye-watering money. I don't think I ever thought I would ever see an Aston Villa player leave for 100 million pounds, and for it to be Jack Grealish, it gives me it's a weird feeling, Fabrizio. I kind of proud that we have the most expensive British transfer of all time and the most expensive British player of all time. I'm proud. I'm obviously also sad. I don't want to leave him or to lose him because of the memories that we have. But do you think that, and are you hearing anything from your sources that Aston Villa are likely to continue to invest that 100 million?
I think yes. They will keep going on this kind of deals that they did with Leon Bailey, with Buendia, with Danny Ings. So expect something else from Aston Villa. They're working on it. I expect Tuanzebe from Manchester United to join in the coming days. So they're going to continue this kind of process. And I don't know if they will spend the world money or if they will spend just a part of this money. But of course, they're working on it. They're working on it, and they're working to do something important. They want to keep the team at a good level as they are doing since many times. So they always had this kind of idea of, if we have to sell Jack Grealish this summer, we have to be prepared and we have to invest this money. I don't know, as I said, if it will be the full money or if they will keep something maybe for the future. It's part of, also for the balance of the club, it's part of the modern world in football. Look at Inter, maybe they are selling Lukaku and they're spending the 30% of what they're getting for Lukaku because they need money. Aston Villa are not exactly needing money now, in particular after selling Jack Grealish, but they have a good strategy and a good budget to spend on the market. So I think they will continue in the coming days. It's not going to finish with an innings. That's it.
I'm going to make an attempt to pronounce an Italian newspaper, Fabrizio. So I apologize to the whole nation of Italy. I apologize to the whole nation of Italy for the bad job. Il Messaggero.
Perfect. Better than Italians.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that those 4 days I spent in Rome 2 years ago, absolutely perfect.
Yes.
They ran a story today linking, and there's kind of two parts to this question. They linked Joaquin Correa from Lazio to Aston Villa, and I suppose number one is have you heard anything on that? And I suppose number two question for that is does this sound like maybe papers and agents linking a player to Aston Villa just because we are a topical team at the moment that have 100 million spent?
Sometimes could happen. I see, the industry so well, and sometimes could happen that they are linking. They say, okay, they sold Grealish. They maybe don't even know that they signed Bailey, because in Italy, maybe they are not following international transfer market like this. And they say, okay, Aston Villa could be an opportunity. Let's do this. But from what I'm told at the moment, there is nothing advanced for Correa. It's an interesting opportunity on the market. We have to say that maybe it could be an opportunity because talking about ideas and scenario could be an opportunity because he's on the market. He wants to change. He wants to try something different after many years at Lazio. But from what I'm told, Aston Villa have not made any bid as of now, and Inter are keen on him. If they sell Lukaku, they want to sign two strikers. One could be Duvan Zapata from Atalanta and the other one Correa. So at the moment for Aston Villa is not a hot topic. Then we will see, because it's an opportunity. But I see part of the industry in this more than part of reality, to be honest.
Yeah, it's but yeah, that's that. I thought you were going to say that.
He's so similar. He's so similar also to Emi Buendia, like also skills of the players. So I don't think they're going to put in competition to so similar players. Both Argentinians. They're not so smart from a club, from my personal opinion.
Yeah. We spoke about finances in football. I think it would be remiss not to mention probably the best footballer I've ever seen, and that's not Jack Grealish, and his transfer status at the moment, or his free transfer status. I never thought I'd ever hear the day when Messi might be on a free transfer. But I'm not going to ask you to give me blow by blow and minute by minute recount of what happened there. But was your mind completely blown when that happened? Like, because it seemed to be just a matter of time before he re-signed with Barca, and they came out today, and I watched your stream on Twitch, which was really good with Laporte, with Laporte explaining why. We have to fear for Barcelona now, don't we?
Yes. First of all, I answer your question, and I was shocked. If you want to know about this, I was more than shocked. It was the biggest shock, if we talk about level of the player and of the club and of the news, of my life and career in football, because I was 100% sure, and as Laporta confirmed today, that they had an agreement in place. It was done. I can tell you that they had an official statement with Leo Messi staying at Barcelona for the next 5 years, ready and in place for yesterday at 8 p.m. So they were ready to announce the new contract. And then yesterday they had final problems with La Liga rules. La Liga were stopping them. They were forcing them into not doing anything on this contract because they can't. They were convinced that with the contract of Messi, going with a 5 years contract instead of a 2 years contract, so going with his salary on 5 years and not on 2 years, they could fix the situation and finalize the contract. But it was not like this. But yesterday, Messi was in Barcelona with his father to sign the contract with Barcelona yesterday morning. And yesterday night, he was leaving Barcelona as a free agent and talking with Paris Saint-Germain. So sometimes football is really crazy. I keep saying that it was done. And I'm happy that today Laporta confirmed that everything was decided and agreed. But I think it's also part of the beauty of the transfer market, where really everything can happen. Imagine that Leo Messi is leaving Barcelona after having an agreement on his contract. And it's something crazy if you think that maybe 2 years ago, before COVID situation and this kind of financial situation, there would never be in this kind of disaster for Barcelona. And so it was not a problem to sign Leo Messi contract. Now they are leaving Leo Messi as a free agent, and it's incredible. So they are in trouble, to answer your question. Yes, they have many and many players on the market. So maybe someone could be interesting for Aston Villa, I don't know, in the next days, but they have many players on the market. And when you think of the names, you see Miralem Pjanic, you see Felipe Coutinho, you see Samuel Umtiti. I can mention many and many players, Bright White and many others on the market. They are available because they need to get rid of the players. And from what I'm told, they have problem also to register Eric Garcia, Kun Agüero, and Depay as new players, because they need to sell players to do it. So it's really a big disaster for Barcelona. But to be honest, it's not up to the president Laporta. It's because the former president Bartomeu created this problem to the club.
Yeah, I'm sure every Aston Villa fan will wait for the here we go for Griezmann and Kun Agüero. Wouldn't it be great to get one back on Man City, whereby they thought that Kun Agüero was going to go to Barcelona and he ends up at Aston Villa? Yeah, that's okay. I think we could do that. Just before I let you go, Fabrizio, I got word that you are a Watford fan.
Yes.
And I was trying to put two and two together, and then I realized that Watford have obviously Italian ownership as such. But what was the draw to Watford?
I was watching the famous match Watford-Leicester in the playoff, and it was incredible. I still remember the feeling I had with Manuel Almunia saved the penalty and then Troy Deeney scored. So that's how we started. And then immediately after, I started looking at the Watford situation, about the Italian ownership, getting in touch with people in the board about Watford. They invited me one time at Vicarage, but as a football fan. I was a journalist, but just as a football fan. And it was amazing because I knew some players that were playing in Italy, like Valon Berami, Miguel Britos, some players of Watford that were before in Italy. And so my feeling at Vicarage was great. And so it was a series of many things together. And then once I started to play on FIFA, on Football Manager, always with Watford, my link with the club became something strong. And that's how I'm a Watford fan, yes.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't go into too much detail about Troy Deeney, because we don't like him around these parts. We don't like Troy Deeney around these parts. So I'm glad you didn't go into too much detail there. But if we weren't in these COVID situations that we were in now, I was going to say that I was travel pending, hoping to get over to Vicarage to see if I could get an away ticket for Watford and Aston Villa, which is the first game of the Premier League season. And I was going to invite you to come and we could watch it together and see.
Without quarantine rules would have been great.
It would have been great. But alas, there will be other games, and I'm sure that both teams are going to progress well within the Premier League this season. Sure. So I suppose very last word on transfers for Aston Villa. Your phone hasn't pinged there to tell you that Aston Villa have signed.
At the moment, no, but maybe later we will see. I will keep you posted.
I like that. I like that intrigue that you're leaving us with.
Yes. Aston Villa are good with the business. They are top secret, so it's not this.
Excellent. Yeah. And you know what? There was a time when I didn't like that, but the more I see how professionally run this club is, the more I can appreciate it, and the more pride you kind of get from seeing that, the communication style, as you say, and the strategy.
I will have the same feeling as a fan, so I 100% agree with you.
Excellent, 100%. Fabrizio, thank you so much for popping on. Really appreciate it. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you, and hopefully we chat again in the future. And hopefully we get to hear many, many more Here We Goes from Fabrizio with the Aston Villa tag behind it.
I hope for you, for Aston Villa, good luck for the season and good luck for your project. Really appreciated the chat and looking forward to talk again whenever you want. Thank you. Really.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And to everybody out there, thanks so much for watching, for listening. Please like and subscribe to this, whichever platform you use, whether it be YouTube or any of the podcast platforms. And all that's left to say is up the Villa.